Hey, how's it going? Welcome to Step Up Your Game, where we talk about anything and everything on how you can step up your game. And in today's topic, we are going to be talking about answering the question, is property investing still a good business in South Africa or across worldwide anyways? And I am TJ, the guy who's been investing in property for a while. And that's where I started off before I started branching off into other businesses. So I can obviously try and aim to answer this question on whether investing in property is still a good business. Bingo! I'm going to start off shooting off by saying that any business is a good business. Let's define that. Any business is a good business. I have seen so many businesses that some other people might jump into and it may just be a disaster. So sometimes it's not about understanding whether a particular business is a good business, but it's about understanding whether you, the individual, whether that business is good for you. Because what might be good for you might not be good for the next person. And what might work for you in that business might not work for the other person. So I just want to put out a disclaimer that whenever we're talking about businesses, I want you to know that the level of success of any business is dependent on, the business owner in terms of how they're stepping up their game to make sure that their business is being profitable. It's not really about them 100%, but it is them and the team members that they can put onto the team, because obviously you can't know and learn everything. You may need some specialists to help you along the way. And if you understand that, then addressing the question of saying, is property investing or real estate investing, is it still a good business? Then already we have answered that question. But before I go, I want to give you 5 reasons why I think that property investing is still a good business. From my perspective, as someone else who is already working and having a business that does that. And I have got several businesses that specialize in different things in the real estate. A student accommodation business, which specializes particularly in the affordable housing for students. So it is geared around students. I also have another business where we do affordable housing. I also have another business where we do property investments. And all of these are all businesses that work in and around investing in property. They are working, and my goal is that they will continue working for as long as I'm involved in those businesses. Now, I'm going to share with you why I am still in those businesses compared to other businesses. So my reason number 1 is that I currently reside in South Africa. And in South Africa is an emerging country, right? From an economy perspective, we're still very much a young country compared to our other bigger countries that are out there. Those that are labeled themselves into the first world countries, right? Because we're an emerging market, it basically means that our infrastructure is still young. So for that reason, there is lots of infrastructure that still needs to be done. There's still areas that are still a little bit developed that can still be developed into a town, into a city where it can be a working city and things like that. We have seen over the years a lot of these cities that have come up where big multinationals have come through and they have done an impact in a particular area, and housing has just been developed and people are living there. So in terms of infrastructure, in terms of businesses, there is still an opportunity because we're a young country. So that's point number 1. Point number 2 is that I see a lot of people that migrate within our markets. And when I say our markets, I want to define that. I see a lot of people that migrate from the rural areas into urban areas. I see a lot of people that migrate from one city to the next city, whether it's metro to metro. I see a lot of people that migrate from staying in a particular metro city, but they are working in another metro city. And for that reason, they need accommodation. I also see a lot of people that migrate from different countries to come in and stay in a particular town, be it is in the big metros or in the smaller cities. Now, with all of this, I find that it's all opportunities that needs to be harnessed, because not everyone will be able to accommodate as and when these people are migrating. It is a fact that on all the census that have been done, all the paperwork that have been done, white papers and so on, there have been continuous conversations that our markets in South Africa specifically, we have a housing shortage. And someone would say to me, well, TJ, I already have a property, and within that property, I cannot fill up my tenants. I have a 10 unit and I can only fill up to 7. Yes, can be correct, right? But the bottom line is that if we look at a national scale, we still have a shortage. Maybe it's about a particular skill within that area in which we can market. Maybe it's about a particular people that are staying, a particular LSM that are staying in that area, knowing that market, maybe it's too high, or maybe you're not just offering what they are looking for. There are multiple reasons why your property might not be having any tenants if we are saying that the country has a shortage. Then the fourth thing that I want to speak to is the concept of what they call the gap market. In our markets, remember, this is all about business, right? So as you're running your business, it's not just about buying a property. Running the business now, all you now need to do is to understand the market that you're playing in. And with that, you can then be able to take in a specific niche. For an example, if we're talking about this gap market, which is point number 4, is that within the gap market, we do know that there are some markets that are not serviced by the normal banks, that are not served by the government, that are either too high or too low for some people to be playing in. And that's what I call the gap market. In the gap market, you and I can go and play within the gap market to ensure that we can provide value to those people, and out of that, they will give us what belongs to us, which is our rental income, and our business can thrive. But how do I know where's the gap market? Well, you need to study the areas or the niche markets that you want to operate in as a business. The fifth one that I want to speak to is that it is a fact that not everyone who is in the country, employed, working somewhere, will not be able to afford, I'm going to start using the word afford, will not be able to afford to go and buy a property. It's point number 1 of point number 5. Or they might not be able not to afford only, but they do not want to buy a property. So I've seen a lot of people that move from one metro city to the other metro city, and they say, I've got a house where I'm coming from and I do not want to buy. I'll rather rent for the time I am there, short term, or that kind of thing. And I've also seen people that cannot afford. Maybe I should have separated those 2 points there. The affordability and those that do not want. But the bottom line, I think you're getting what I'm saying. Now, having said all of this, I am trusting that these 5 reasons can give you or identify, or you can be able to see that there is still a big, humongous business opportunity to be tapped into. If you look at these are like if you look at these 5 reasons that I've given you, and if you dissect all of these in particular niches, you can start to see where the gaps are. And when you're running a business, or when you're an entrepreneur, this channel here is about entrepreneur, trying to move you from the E of being an employee into the I of being an investor and starting your own business. The bottom line is that you can't do that if there ain't no problem. So our jobs as property entrepreneurs or as business people is to solve for problems. And those people that are able to identify problems gets paid better when they solution them. And that's the bottom line. The question that you was asking is property investing is it still a good business? Then the question is the other question that we need to be asking ourselves is, in which aspect do we still see a problem? And wherever that problem is, how best can we jump in to solve for that, and how best can I get paid? I hope this makes sense. If it does make sense, on the comments, let me know what you think. And remember, subscribe to the channel before you disappear. It is I, your boy, TJ. I'll check you out on the next video.